Hello everyone, my name is Christina Clark. I'm going to be talking to you about marriage and family enrichment educator, and mostly in like a parole office setting, a parole officer setting. So the example organization that I was able to find is a Department of Justice. Usually it's based off of each state, so since I'm in the state of Texas, I am using the Texas Department of Justice. The website that I was able to use is tdcj.tx.gov. Then the career contact that I was able to find was Ryan Clark, and he is in the Waco, Texas office, which is where I'm at. The working environment. The working environment really is going to depend on the size of the state or the or the size of the city that you're in. So most parole offices depend on where you're located, and you can have as little as 2 people up to what I'm finding in the Waco office is about. Right now, I think they have 15 people in there with 4 supervisors. Typical work hours are a normal 8 to 5 work day with a 40-hour week. You do have some opportunities of overtime just because there's so much work that has to be done. Even with having supervisors, you'll need to make sure that you're self-motivated to do all of the workload that you'll need on your own time. It is a work at your own pace, but you do have deadlines that you have to meet for each month. So it still seems to be a very friendly environment, family-friendly environment. So based off of everybody that you work with, I'm not sure based off of the parolees that you have to work with how family-friendly that is. But your typical stressors of the job is the deadlines. Like I said, you work in a time frame. You usually have about a month's time frame to make everything work and to get everything done, get all your visits in and get all your paperwork done. But it is set your own pace. You can set up the appointments. It's kind of work as you go. You're in charge of your own self and making your own schedule. Just make sure that you get everybody on your list. A typical workload would be probably somewhere between 80 to 90 parolees. But you could also have some extenuating circumstances where you're low manned in your office, and so you end up having more and more. So that's kind of one of those stressors, is just make sure that you get everything done that you need to get done. Typical benefits. It is a government job, so you're looking at health insurance. Working in Texas under the government program, you're also required to pay into your pension. You put 10% automatically comes up into your pension and a 1% into your 401k. You accrue 8 hours of vacation holiday time and 8 hours of sick leave every month. Any unused sick leave at the end of your career turns over into paid leave. So you get paid those sick days that you never used. Your holiday vacation time, you will lose those after a year, but it will roll over into sick leave. So then you're into that same category of, if you don't use it, it'll turn into paid leave. Common job tasks are interviewing the parolees, report any and all contact with parolees. So you're reporting any time that you speak to them, any changes on their in their life, any changes of what's going on. Even if you didn't get a hold of them, you write all of that down. So you do home offices and you do home visits and office visits. You do both types of visits. You could do any urinary analysis assessments. Sometimes maybe job placement. Be a person that tells them where and what to go find, what they can find for their jobs in places that they can work. Educational requirements. As a parole officer, they only require, here in the state of Texas, they only require you to have a bachelor's degree. However, they recommend that you have a degree in something like social work or psychology, one of those departments, and I can see how it would also be wonderful for a family science degree also. Your starting salary, anywhere between $35,000 to $40,000 a year, and that can go up to $57,000 to $60,000 depending on how long you've been in as a parole officer. So, and there's always room to move up. This is just as a parole officer, you have room to move up into a supervisor position and earn more. Any miscellaneous career information, one of the major things is to just be aware of your safety and the security of you and your family and those that you work with, and just be aware of the nature of the job. Any other additional information that you'd like to find out, you can go to here in Texas. It's tdcj.state.tx.us or the tdcj.tx.gov, and hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight about a family educator in the role of a parole officer. Thank you.